Hi, I'm Captain Lash, Ladder 1-2 unit. Today we're going to discuss how to operate elevators in the fire service mode. We're going to discuss operating the elevators and putting them into phase 1 and phase 2 and describe the differences in those two operations. First we'll talk about phase 1, and that is activated by the lobby control switch, which is generally found right next to the elevators on the wall. Occasionally, some buildings will find the phase 1 fire service switch at a security guard desk, and that's in a few of our buildings downtown, like 30 East Broad, I believe it's in the security guard desk. Phase 1 simply recalls all the elevators, no matter where they're at in the building. They will ignore all hall call buttons. They will finish the call that they're on. The doors will close. The elevators will automatically recall to the lobby. When they arrive at the lobby, their doors will open, and that's where they'll remain. So as a firefighter and officers in our fire department, when you go into a high-rise or a multiple-story building that's equipped with the fire service control, one of your first procedures should be obtain the fire service key from a security officer or a building person there, activate phase 1, and the elevators will be recalled and the doors will stop and remain open. Several other things you should do while you're waiting. 1, locate the fire stairs. Know exactly where the stairwells are located in the building. And you should also try to establish at that time where the standpipe connections are. If they're in the elevator stair or in the fire service stairwells, or if they're located in the hallways. You should try to establish that beforehand. Another thing you should do while you're waiting there at the lobby is make sure you have a full complement of firefighters ready. Don't have the engine company in with your hose, load onto the elevator and leave. Wait for at least 5 to 6 firefighters. You should have your standpipe hose and also a ladder company with their forcible entry equipment. Halligan bar, 6-foot pipe, a sledgehammer would all be adequate to bring. So you want to enter the elevator with everything you need to fight the fire when you initially leave. What we're going to do now is activate the elevator and put it into phase 1. Bring the elevators to the lobby and show you the function there. The doors should open and remain open and stop right there. Then we'll go into phase 2 and show you some of the things that you need to know about phase 2 and how to do a safety check on these elevators to know that you do have control of the elevators. And that's very, very important. Okay, we'll start now with going to phase 1 and demonstrate that. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to activate the elevator into phase 1. You enter the lobby, you've got the keys, you find the fire service control, put your key in, turn the key to the on position. That activates phase 1. The elevator should now ignore their hall call buttons, finish the call they're on, return to the lobby, and that the doors should open and remain open if it's properly in phase 1. We now have control of the elevators. We're in phase 1, the doors have opened and the cars are remaining in the lobby for our use. Our next step will be to enter the car with a full crew of firefighters and activate fire service phase 2, which gives us complete control of the car. The things that will happen in phase 2 is 1, when you turn the button to on or fire service, the elevator will not move until you activate the floor buttons that you want to go to. When that happens, if the car is equipped with a door close button, you will have to shove the door close button and hold that button until the doors are completely closed. If there's not a door close button, what you have to do is push the floor button that you want to go to, hold it, and the doors will completely close. And once the car starts to move, you can release the pressure on the button. That will get you started up. When you arrive at the floor that you've selected, if the car is operating correctly, the doors will remain closed. The car will stop, but the doors will remain closed. You'll then have to actuate the door open button and hold it until the doors are completely open. That's in the phase 2 function. What we want to do on a high-rise situation or a multi-story building is when you enter the car and you're actuated the fire service key to phase 2, you want to go to one floor above the lobby where you're at to begin with. So you push the button, which would be the second floor in most cases. go one floor above. And at that point, what you want to do is do a quick safety check to make sure that all the functions are operating properly. And to do that, you enter the car, you go to phase 2, you select the floor above the lobby, and close the doors, and when the car starts to move and stops on 2, it should stop and the door should remain closed. At that point, you want to hit the door open button and allow the doors to halfway open and release the pressure on the button at that point. The door should immediately close again and the car will remain there. If this doesn't happen, if the car doors go ahead and fully open or the car starts to move again, it means you do not have control of the elevator and you want to exit the elevator and take the stairs from that point forward. This is a safety check to make sure that you do, in fact, have control of the elevator in phase 2. It's a quick little safety check. Procedure from that point on is to, for example, if a fire is reported on 20, you want to select 2 to 3 floors below the 20th. And an additional safety check that you want to be in the habit of doing is stop the elevator every 5th floor and check to see that you still do have control of it. And also it's a good time to open the doors completely and take a good hand light and shine up between the elevator, car itself, and the hoistway would be in this area and look up into the hoistway. And what you're looking for is 2 things. One is smoke. You may see smoke filtering in if you do have a fire, or water. If you find water running into the hoistway up above you, that's probably indication that there's a sprinkler head off and there probably is a fire. If you see water in the hoistway, you want to be very leery of using your elevator then, even though you're in fire service, because the water can short circuit the fire service function. So if you got water coming in the hoistway, you may use your best judgment there. You may want to exit the elevator and use the stairwell from that point forward. So you're going to stop every 5th floor. We got a fire on 20. We're going to stop at 5, 10, and 15 and check the hoistway, and also we'll make a quick check to see if we still do have control of the elevator. Then we're going to stop at either 17 or 18, exit the car, and take the fire stairs from that point up. You have one option there when you stop the car on 17. A good procedure to follow is to leave one firefighter with his walkie in the car, and you go ahead and proceed up the fire stairs. When you get to the indicated fire floor, if it's just a malfunction alarm, you can call that firefighter and he can bring the elevator from that point forward and bring it on up to get the rest of the company to go back to your equipment to get in service. So it's a good procedure to leave a firefighter on the car with the walkie, and he still has control of it. If for some reason you ever want to send the car back to the lobby, but you want to keep all your men and not leave a person on the car to run it, and like I said earlier, it's best to leave a person on the car to keep control of it. But if you turn the key to the off position when you're in phase 2, if you turn it to off, but leave the key in there, since the elevator in the lobby is still in phase 1, what will happen if you turn off of phase 2 in the car itself, we're still into phase 1 in the lobby, that car will close its doors and then go to the lobby like it did before in phase 1. The doors will open and remain open. And then additional people could come in and go back to phase 2 in the car and utilize that car. That's not the best procedure, but it will work. But you want to be sure and leave the key in there so they have the key to go to phase 2 at this point. Okay, what we'll probably do now is go through an example and film the elevator and the safety check that I brought up to you about when we're in phase 2 to make sure it's functioning properly. And that's real important. I was on an incident once at Mountain High where we entered the cars. We went to phase 1, the cars come to the lobby, we started to leave in phase 2, and the cars were acting very erratic. The doors were opening, closing, it was stopping on the floor, then returning to the lobby. We immediately exited the cars and took the fire stairs to the top floor of the building. And what had happened, to show you things do happen, and even though it seems like we have total control of the car, at times we don't, and that's why it's important to do these safety checks. A steam pipe had ruptured in the top floor, and the moist steam had entered the control room of the elevator and was shorting out all the fire service and all the functions of the elevator. So we did not have control of the elevator. It was shorting out the fire service. So by us doing our safety checks, we realized that, We exited the car and took the safe route, which is up the interior fire stairs. Okay, now we're on the elevator car and we're going to go into phase 2. First thing you want to do is take your elevator key, insert it into fire service mode, turn it to on or fire service, and now we've got control of the car from the elevator car itself. Before you leave the lobby, a couple other things you want to do is look and see if you can identify a stop button, which is down here. Not all cars are equipped with stop buttons, but if there is one, you want to know where it is and be able to actuate it quickly in case, like the scenario I brought up earlier, where the steam caused the car to function erratically. You may want to use the stop button to stop it, and that will stop the car because it shuts off the power to the motor generator, which actually lifts and lowers the car and raises it, so it will stop the car. The next thing you want to look and see if it has a call cancel button. This elevator is not equipped with one, but some of them there'll be a button similar to this that says call cancel. You see that? Hit it once. It's not a bad procedure to follow. Then you want to know where your door open button is, and in some cars will be a door close button. So you want to locate those. If the car does not have a door close button, that function is done by pushing the floor button itself. When you push the floor button and hold it, the doors will close, and you hold pressure on that button until you feel the car starting to move. Once it starts to move, you can release pressure from the button. Once again, when you enter the car, you go to phase 2, fire service, actuate the key, look for several things, stop button, which is, we do have one on this particular elevator. Notice your door open, and if it has a door close button. The door close button's there, then you operate it until the door is completely closed. And then you find the floor you want to go to, which, like I said earlier, we're going to stop every 5 floors, so roughly figure that out and actuate that next floor button. If the car is equipped with a call cancel button and you accidentally, say for example, the fire's on 20 and you accidentally hit 20, immediately hit the call cancel button and it will cancel that call. So now we're going to go through a safety check. We've entered the car, we've taken and we've selected the floor, one floor above where we entered, which would in most cases be the second floor we entered from the lobby. At that point is where you do your safety checks. We're going to get on the car, we take the car up, we go to phase 2, we take the car up to the second floor, and at that point several things should happen. One, when the car stops on 2, the doors should remain closed. You sit there and nothing happens. The car stops, the doors remain closed. From that point on, you want to actuate the door open button. And what you want to do is hold the door button until the doors are about halfway open. Then release the pressure from the door open button. Immediately the doors should go closed again. They should shut. That tells you you do have control of the elevators and it is operating properly in the fire service mode. Next thing you want to do is hit the door open button again and hold pressure on the button until the doors are completely closed. Once they are completely closed, they will remain in that position. Excuse me, that is door open. I meant door open. It's going to open and stay open. From that point is when you do your first check of the hoistway lobby. You take a light and you're going to shine a flashlight up the lobby. I'll do that for you. Okay, now we're going to see a demonstration of the elevator operating properly in a phase 2. We're going to simulate here the elevator's from the lobby and it's coming back up to the second floor to check it. In a second, you should see the doors halfway open and then immediately close. That's the firefighter in the car releasing pressure on the door open button and checking to make sure that they close again. See, it's functioning properly. The door's halfway open, immediately shut again. And that's a safety check that you want to get in the habit of doing. Next, the firefighter will open the doors completely until it gets in a complete open position, stops, then he can release the pressure from the door open button and the door should remain open. And that's the safety check you want to make sure. If, when you hit the door open button and the door's halfway open and you release pressure and they continue to open, you want to exit the elevator. That means it's not operating properly in the phase 2 position. Once the car stops, you got the doors open. Now is when you start your check of the elevator hoistway. Simply, you get between the elevator car itself and the hoistway wall. You take a good hand light, and you shine up between the elevator car and the hoistway wall, and you can look up in there. And what you're looking for, again, as I said earlier, you're looking for smoke or water. Water can be a problem going into the hoistway because it can short out the safety functions of an elevator and maybe cause it to malfunction in the fire service mode. And you can also look for smoke. You see smoke, you're pretty well sure you have some type of fire up there. We brought up that you want to stop 2 to 3 floors below the indicated fire floor. There's a couple reasons for stopping 2 to 3. If I think for sure that I have a fire, I'm going to stop at least 3 floors below. And that buys you a little safety margin. In case something happens, the elevator malfunctions, you can stop the car. You've already located the stop button. You can stop it and get off the car. 2, what happens in a lot of high-rise buildings now, some large corporation will own all of 20 and 21. And what they'll do is put access steps between 20 and 21. Well, if the fire comes in and reported on 21, that's where the alarm went off. What can happen is the fire may have actually started on 20, but the smoke went right up the access steps and actuated the 21st floor alarm. So if you go to 20, which you think is 1 floor below the fire, you're going to actually be on the fire floor. So buy yourself a little safety margin. Once you get to when you're doing your safety checks here, when you stop at 2, another procedure you want to get in the habit of doing while somebody's doing the safety check and you're stopped on 2, again, locate the fire stairs so you know exactly where they're at. Quite often from the lobby, you don't know exactly where the stairs door is because in most cases, the fire stairs will exit to the outside from the lobby area. And on the 2nd floor, you'll start being able to note where the fire stairs doors are. And also, again, check to make sure where your standpipe connections are when you're on the 2nd floor. That way you're going to know right where to hook up your standpipe pipe hose. And hopefully it's in the stairwell location. Okay, one other thing we're going to show you in this tape just a little bit is how an elevator key works. We're going to show you from the outside here, and then we'll show you from the inside the hoistway to show you what function this key does and how it unlocks the car. The only reason you need to know that in the fire service, when you are on the car and going to a potential fire and the car malfunctions, it could stop on you. And of course you're going to have forcible entry tools on there to get your way out. But there is an easy way and sometimes to get out, and we're going to kind of show you that, all depending on what position the elevator car has in the hoistway. But essentially an elevator key, there's several kinds, but this is just a single drop. And we're going to insert it in the hole here on the car door. And the key, usually you turn the key opposite or in the same direction. I mean the same direction that the door opens. So I'm going to put the key in. I'll let it drop. I'll take my left hand and put a little bit of pressure on the hoistway door, just in a side motion as I turn the key. This pressure is pretty important because the door won't just open automatically. I put my hand on the key, a little pressure here, I turn, and the door opens. Now, it's real important at this point, the door is unlocked and it's going to open, that I remove the key at this point. What happens a lot of times when we operate these keys on ladder and rescue companies, we have our hand on the key, we slide the door open, and you forget about right here, and the door will smash your fingers. So as soon as it starts to open, you want to take your key out and go ahead and finish opening the door. We're going to go inside the car and show you exactly what that key is doing from the inside to probably help you understand better what an elevator key does. And this is more used in the rescue type situations, but I wanted to bring it up in the fire end of it to show you how you can self-rescue yourself from a trapped car in case that would ever happen in a fire and the car malfunctions and you're trapped on the car and there is a fire. We can show you how that possibly you can open the hoistway doors from inside the car. Car, and we're going to show you the elevator key, the function it performs in opening this hoistway door. The door is locked now. We're going to have another firefighter's leg stick the elevator key through the hole let it drop, and we're going to actuate the locking mechanism. You see the key coming through the hole, drops down, he turns the key, and unlocks the door. Most elevators, what operates and locks and unlocks the door, there's a series of rollers, and they're generally easily moved. And the reason we're showing this in the fire service thing, if your car ever stops, you can force the car doors themselves open. They do not lock the car doors. The only thing that locks is the hoistway door. You can force your car door open, and if you can locate these rubber rollers, in this case they're kind of a nylon type roller, by bumping them at the same time putting force on the door, you can open the hoistway doors from the car. I'll let you see this in reality here. I'll do it from the top of the car, but I can do it from standing inside the elevator too. I locate the rollers and I operate them as I force the door open, and we can get ourselves out of the car in an emergency. I'll do it one more time. The door right now is locked. A hoistway door, this is a hoistway door, it is locked. I'm in the car, I need to get out, it's malfunctioned in a fire. I'll locate these rollers, and one of the reasons I said to bring you should have a 6-foot pike in there. The car may be a foot or two below the landing zone or the floor level, so you may have to reach up with something to actuate these as you put a little bit of pressure on the bottom of the door and slide it open. This would just only be used in an emergency situation where you got to get off the car, and you can unlock the hoistway door from inside the car if that case ever arose. Fire standpoint is we get calls occasionally where there's smoke in elevator lobbies or smoke on floors of high-rise buildings. Sometimes we have trouble locating the source of that smoke. Something that's often overlooked. We generally get in the habit of looking at only light ballasts, but quite often the motor on top of an elevator car will burn out. And this motor is what opens the elevator car doors itself, and also at the same time it'll slide the hoistway doors open. These elevator motors are located on top of the car. This can often be a source of a smoke situation in a high-rise or multiple-story building. These will often burn out. Some of the keys to think that it might be the elevator motor is the smoke will be heaviest near the elevator lobbies, and also it'll be on multiple floors quite often. These motors start to burn out, but the car is still working, and if it's a multiple hoistway situation, the other cars will draw the smoke out of this hoistway, and when their doors open, say if the elevator motor burns out and it's on 18, the other cars may dissipate the smoke to 16, 15, so you can have a lot of smoke on multiple floors. So that's one of the keys. You got heavier smoke or the smell of smoke around the elevator lobbies, and the other thing is on multiple floors. As the elevators go up and down the hoistway, the air will force it out on different floors. So that's a source of smoke in high-rise, multiple-story situations. It'll have a strong electrical smell, a little more stronger than a light ballast. If you ever get where you have a rubbery smell, don't overlook it could possibly be the belts that operate the car doors. These can burn up occasionally and give you a rubbery type smell on top of the elevator. Okay, we're going to reenact here a procedure the way it should follow. The engine company gets on the scene. They've already obtained the fire service key from the security guards. He's inserted the key in the fire service control, turned it on, and he's actuated phase 1. We now have the elevators operating in phase 1. He's able to remove the key from that because he'll need it on the car. In a moment, the car should come to the lobby, the doors open, and remain in that position. Two of the firefighters enter the car with the hose. They have their standpipe hose and some forcible entry tools, all their standpipe connections. They've entered the car. Now there's only 3 of them here now. The ladder company's a little behind. They're waiting on them. Now the ladder company arrives on the scene, and they're going to enter the car. So we have a full complement of firefighters here to attack the fire in case they do encounter one. They also have forcible entry tools. And it's going to be a little crowded on the car, but we got enough people on there. We all enter the car. They put the key in the fire service control on the car, and now they're going to go to phase 2. In a minute, we're going to see them checking out on the 2nd floor. They're going to go 1 floor above the lobby and do a safety check. They're going to push the button in, hold it till the car leaves. It's going to leave the elevator, the lobby now, and go to 2. And they're off. They're going to stop at 2 and enter from the lobby, and they're going to go 1 floor above to check all the safety features on the fire service. They've checked the door, it reclosed. Now they're going to open it and hold it. Firefighter will leave the car and locate the stairwells and the standpipe. Another firefighter is checking the hoistway for smoke or water with his light and looking up. Again, they're going to stop every 5 floors and do that.
Here's the stairwell and the standpipe. Watch your zipper.
Okay, the firefighters are now leaving. They're going to stop every 5 floors, again, depending on the location of the fire, and they're going to stop, check the hoistway for smoke or water, make sure again that they don't have to do the whole safety check again, but they will know that when the doors open and stay open, they still have control of the car in the fire service mode. We as firefighters got to be doing this on every run, even if it's just an alarm ringing, and I know we go to the same building time in and time out, and you get complacent. You need to get in the habit of doing this on every run. Complacency can kill you. If you don't believe that, pull out the 1995 October American Heat tape and watch it about the 2 Memphis firefighters. Believe me, if they had to do it again, they would do the same procedure on every run because they aren't going to have that opportunity. They're both dead. They went on a building that they go to multiple times on alarms ringing. It was the middle of the night. They entered a car. Here we are, alarm ringing again. They go directly to the fire floor. The doors open. They're hit with heat and smoke. Panic ensued. Some fell out of the car. Some stayed in the car. But the bottom result was that 2 firefighters lost their life, and basically it was due to complacency. You want to stop 2 to 3 floors below the fire, even on alarms ringing, and take the stairwell. It has a lot of training value to it. That even though it's an alarm ringing, you're going to start knowing the location of the fire stairs by doing this as a routine.